What's up, everybody? It's Joe from JLB Game coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster in our awesome park here. And for this episode, we're going to be detailing just a little bit of the existing coaster a little bit. And we're also going to start on a new coaster / dark ride. So I did a little bit of work off screen. I made this like chain link type fence, which was kind of cool. And it's going to go around the area to keep people out of the perimeter of the ride. So yeah, that will make sure no one gets inside, just like a real life coaster. Again, I want to bring as much realism as I can into this park, and that is the goal. So I do a little bit of rock work over here at the dive loop. I thought it would be pretty appropriate. It looks kind of cool. I like it, and I think it looks nice. So, and then I realized, well, let's go ahead and start the chain link fence. Over here, it's actually a wooden link fence, if you want to call it that, I suppose, since it's actually wooden. It's not, actual. Yeah. So I get rid of this barrier over here by the giant swing type ride, or whatever you want to call it. And we add some trees, foliage, and some pretty flowers and plants around this area. It makes it look nice and pretty, because we like pretty stuff like that, am I right? And so that's that. And then we go over here, and I do a little bit of environment work over by the coaster area, and filling up this spot with some trees and planters, and well, maybe just trees. Yeah, it's just trees. I think the entrance area, or the area, looks pretty awesome with the coaster. Not gonna lie, that's just me. But then I wanted to make sure for this episode that I would make kind of a main street area for the park, and that's what this straight line of path is going to be. And I thought I'd try myself with some sidewalks here, which I haven't really tried before, and I've always wondered how people have done it, because I was never able to do it very successfully, that is. And it turned out alright, I suppose. I mean, look, you got kind of sidewalks. I wish there was a sidewalk, an easy way to do sidewalks in the game. Maybe they will add something in the future. You never know. So it was kind of tricky to get it around this curved area because it kept wanting to connect. But if you didn't know, you can hold down control and it will actually stop it from connecting from other pathways nearby, which can come in handy very nicely. So this first building, I wanted to make sure it had a lot of uniqueness, and I actually don't finish the details on this building. I mainly get the shape of it, and that's about it, and I move on to actually the ride, or the dark ride itself, because the dark ride's entrance is going to be on the main street, which is kind of cool, and it's going to be a really pretty big building, and yeah, so that would be kind of cool. And the dark ride is going to be a aerodynamic coaster, or Vekuma, whatever you want to use or call it, because their track styles pretty much look the same. But we'll get to that when we get there. And again, I pretty much just get the shape of this building, and it actually turned out really cool. And I didn't do the detailing on it yet because I still wanted to figure out what I'm going to do with the detailing on it to make it look really nice. Since I had such a good start, I'll add a little bit more on the roof as well. And for right now, it just has a flat roof. It'll probably change sometime in the future. And this is me again, trying to do some experimenting, and I end up not worrying about it in the end, because I just don't have experience, and I'm trying to get myself experience by doing some certain stuff like this, so it works out in the long run pretty awesome. So but I don't actually think I could go with this roof. This was me pretty much experimenting, seeing if I could do something with it, but it ends up not doing, or it ends up not working. I wish you could, I don't know if there's a way, but I kind of want there to be where I can place this easily with this building itself without having to freely place it, and have it stay within the grid and stuff. But I'm not sure entirely if I can do that and make it part of the building. I don't believe that's possible, but I might still try different things as well. So this ride I wanted to put over here, and I think I might actually be taking it out because it's starting to gets in the way just a bit of the dark ride itself. So it might actually be moved into a different location, but we'll see when we get there. But for right now, it will go right here, nice and undetailed for right now. It's pretty much a placeholder to get something going over here. And I wanted to try and make a pathway going all the way around it, just so it kind of had that feel, but it didn't really work out the greatest the way I hoped it would have. So I believe I just leave it with the exit connecting to the pathway over here in the end. So that's actually where it actually leaves off. Did I leave it like that or a different way? I must have left it that way. So anyways, I want to add a little bit of decorating here with some lights and just little doodads like that that work out pretty well with some lanterns. And I wanted to make myself some flower boxes as well, which I actually end up doing. But the flower boxes I just wanted to put in between the space between, you know, the two different pathways to give them a little bit of that. So that's what I'm actually working on here, is making a flower box the best that I can. I should have used rotation snap, and I did not in this case because I didn't really think about it, but it does end up working out. So oh well, it works just fine. So pretty much what I did is use these planks right here and put them across from each other. And then used this. I see this commonly used for flower boxes, or at least to a certain extent, somewhat like this. You're not gonna be able to see the inside because of the plants, anyways. So I don't worry too much about those at the moment. So this was my very first attempt to add a sort of a flower box, but as you can tell, it turns out all right, or it will turn out alright, I should say, because it's not finished here. But yeah, that looked pretty good. And I just copy and duplicate it over here, and at first I thought I could possibly add some plants to it and then copy that, but it didn't let me. I don't know what I did wrong. But I thought you could place plants, but maybe you can't, so I just placed the boxes and then placed the plants manually myself. And it seemed to work out alright, but I liked how it looked, and it actually turned out cool. And again, I'm experimenting, trying different things with this park, and it all ends up working out pretty nicely. But that's that, and I believe we get into the dark ride here in a moment. After I place this sign for the Rocktopus, I decided to just leave the golden archway for this one. But again, this ride might be moving in the future. I'm not entirely sure yet. It just depends if it gets in my way for the dark ride at all. But the dark ride's going to be cool. It's my first attempt at a dark ride, and I hope to use a lot of those spotlights on them. Anyways, and that's that. And I believe we get to the dark ride here, which I use the aerodynamic looper. No, I actually used the hypercoaster because I wanted those trains a little bit more. So the queue line's going to be pretty much the building is going to be pretty much the queue line on the main street, and that's the main thing that's going to go there. And it'll connect to this, and this is going to be one big building, and it's actually going to, you know, possibly have a little bit of an outdoor part, which will be kind of nice, or kind of cool as well. As for theming wise, you know, I haven't got too much of a theme for it yet. I'm just getting the basic layout and building at the moment, and we'll add props and stuff and theming later when we get around to that. But I definitely knew I wanted to have a dark ride in this park, because it was my original plan in Mystic Bay to have a dark ride, but I never really got around to it. So one thing I do like to use actually is the drive wheels, which is something really nice to have for dark rides and stuff, because you can actually use the drive wheels rather than, you know, using a chain lift or something like that, or brakes even, you know, like we had to do in Roblox Tycoon 3. So using drive tires is really nice for dark rides and stuff like that. So I try to make the track go upwards slightly as it goes through, and I almost wanted to make it nearly unnoticeable while you're riding the ride. And it's just going to have a drop out of nowhere and people won't see it coming. That's kind of the idea here with the drive tires. And I was a little scared that the drive tires wouldn't have enough power to pull the trains upward, but after testing it actually does make it. So it goes a little slow, but I might be able to change the settings on the drive tires to make it go a little bit faster so it has a little bit more power going at the upward angle. And it's going to go slightly upward, just a little bit, and hopefully make it a little bit unnoticeable. But I think it's going to be a pretty unique ride, and that's what I really hope. And I think it's going to turn out pretty nicely. We don't get too far into the Stark ride. I get just a couple of track pieces down and a little bit of queue line. So we'll be seeing what we'll be doing in the next episode for this dark ride itself, because it's kind of we don't get too far into it in this episode. So but anyways, this is the dark ride, and I can't wait until I get further into it, into like the theming aspect and stuff like that. And with this queue line, I want to make sure this queue line will probably have a little bit more theming than the last one, because it's a dark ride and it's indoor ride. But there'll still be this long queue line in the middle parts right here that kind of gives it its shape. And this is the main reason why I wanted to possibly move the other ride over just a little bit, so it doesn't have any issues with the building and stuff. But because I don't want to have it to conflict with the building itself over here, and that's the main issue that I feel like I'm going to run into. But anyways, that is about it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and tell me what you think about this dark ride going in, and make sure you have a great day and an even cooler tomorrow. Thanks for watching so much, and goodbye.